short ambiance. Deep sub-bass pulses softly under atmospheric paths. Pulse percussive taps build slowly, vocals snippet. Surging coming, whispered with reverb. Practice snare rolls with glitchy effects. Rising synthes mimic lightning strikes. Bass grows in intensity with distortion. Vocal chops echo thunder, thunder. Heavy bass growls combined with punchy kicks. Syncopated snares and hi-hats drive the rhythm. Aggressive synth leads cut through the mix. Thunder effects layer to add power and atmosphere. Energy pulls back to filtered paths and sub-bass drones. Whisper voca surge fades in and out. Minimal glitch percussion accents the space. Bass hits harder with complex rhythmic patterns. Faster hi-hat rolls and snappy snares. Snippers increase momentum. Increase moments. Synth leads with pitch bends, stems, and distortion effects. Storm effects rise to a crescendo with distant thunder. Dissolving to silence, and dissolving to silence. Thunder, thunder.
Rolling thunder FX mixed with distant rain sounds. Deep sub-bass rhythmically in the background. Soft hi-hats tap rhythmically in the background. Form is coming, echoing ominously. Snare rolls accelerate with glitch accelerations. Rising synths mimic lightning flashes. Bassline intensifies with subtle distortion. Vocal chop repeat, reload, building suspense. Express it hard with surging, pumping, heavy kicking, snappy snares lock the groove. Sharp synth stab accents, glitch accelerator. Sheep bursts, layers or mix. Energy goes back to atmospheric paths and filtered bass drones. Whisper, ride the storm, echoes vaguely. Minimal percussion with glitch echoes fade in and out. Bass hits harder with more complex rhythmic patterns. Hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares accelerate energy. Synth leads with pitch modulation and distortion. Intense FX leads mimic thunderclaps. Bass and bass fade with rain and thunder effects. Storm subsiding whispers into silence. Hands on soft rumble low frequency tone. Deep bass drones with subtle glitch effects. Soft percussive elements at a steady pace. Ambient crowd noise adds live energy. Berserker activated, echoes with reverb. Berserker activated, echoes with reverb. Snare rolls increase tempo with pitch modulation. Cymbals rise sharply, bassline thickens and distorts progressively. Vocal chops repeat, berserk, hard-hitting bass drop with wobble and raw layers. Punchy kicks and crisp snares drive the rhythm. Aggressive stabs punctuate the groove. Layered glitch effects enhance the intensity. Energy reduces to filter pads and sub-bass drones. Whispered vocal fades in and out. Minimal percussion accents fill the space. Bass hits harder with complex rhythms and some distortion. Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares increase momentum. Let's bend it to a climax. Pitch modulation built to a climax. Beat and bass fade gradually with atmospheric reverbs. First goes off, echoes softly. Track closes on a low bass rumble fading into silence.
Deep rumbling bass with subtle electric crackles. Ambient synth pads slowly build atmosphere. Percussive clicks and light hi-hats set a steady rhythm.
Shot drop incoming.
Echoes with reverb. Rapid snare rolls with glitch, rising synth-wise at tension. Bass line begins with growling distortion. Vocal chops repeat, shot drop, shot drop, shot drop.
Powerful bass drop with wobble and growl layers. Punchy kicks and crisp snares drive the groove. Shots and stabs and glitch effects intensify energy. Layered shockwave effects amplify the impact.
Energy reduces to filtered pads and sub-bass drones.
Whispered Vocalux mode
Fades in and out.
Minimal glitch percussion
Accents fill the space.
Bass hits harder with complex rhythms and distortion. Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares increase momentum. Syncing bend and modulate dynamically. Effects build to a climactic peak. Beat and bass fade with atmospheric reverbs and electric crackles. Throat drop complete.
Echoes softly.
Track ends on the deep bass rumble fading into silence.
Deep rumbling bass with subtle electric crackles. Ambient synth pads slowly build atmosphere. Percussive clicks and light hi-hats set a steady rhythm.
Shot drop incoming.
Echoes with reverb. Rapid snare rolls with glitch, rising synth-wise at tension. Bass line begins with growling distortion. Vocal chops repeat, shot drop, shot drop, shot drop.
Powerful bass
Bass rumbles gradually building up. Crisp hi-hats and percussive blacks start layering in. Rising synth sweeps attention. Feel the quake. Echoes with delay. Snare rolls and glitch escalate energy. Synth rolls increase in tempo, intensity. Bass line goes more aggressive and distorted. Hard height, vocal chops build anticipation. Massive bass drop with big wobble, bass and punchy kicks, sharp synth stabs accentuate the rhythm. Rapid hi-hat rolls and snappy snares push the groove. Layered bass growls add depth and power. Energy pulls back to filter pads and soft bass drones. Vocal whisper keep it shaking. Subtle glitch and reverb effects float around. Return of the full bass drop, now with added simply mellow. Open bass point, complexity for a bigger feel. Bass quick, bass quick, bass quick. Bass and drum, glitch and fills the late. And the beat, vocal chops, echoes read. Bass quick, build a bass, vocal chops, echo. Bass quick, bass quick, bass quick, bass quick. Bass and drums scratch and filter out. Final synth sweep fades into atmospheric reverb. Track ends on a low rumbling bass tone. Return of the full bass drop, now with added synth lead mellow. Open bass point, complexity for the bigger feel. Bass quick, bass quick, bass quick. Return of the full bass drop, now with added synth lead mellow. Open bass point, complexity for a bigger feel. Rising silhouettes and distant crowd noise. Solid bass, rumble fades in. Focus and clicks and soft hi-hats and rhythm. Floor echoes with reverb, fills with reverb. Accelerated samples and synths. Bassline thickens and distorts. Over to a good adrenaline building hype. As a bass drop is ground walk. Dungeon kicks and crisp snares drive the groove. Straps and stabs and glitch effects increase energy. Layer bass hits and effects intensify the drop. Magic pulls back to filter pads and sub-bass drums. Whisper vocals as the hit fades in and out. Limo clicks, percussion, I6 check sharp. Bass is harder, complex rhythms and mills distortion. Faster hi-hat rolls and secret bass hands are momentum. Attacks built to a climactic beat. Deep and bass fade out with atmospheric breathers. Adrenaline subsides, echoes softly. Track loses on the little bass, I'm fading into silence. Deep bass drones with glitch effects and atmospheric pads. Light percussion and rhythmic hi-hats start the groove. Reloading bass echoes with delay. Fast snare rolls the rising synth build tension. Bassline thickens with growling distortion. Vocal chop for bass plays bubble and distorted layers. Heavy bass drop with wobble and distorted layers. Punchy kicks and crisp snares drive the rhythm. Sharp synth stabs and glitch fat bursts of energy. Layered bass hits intensify impact. Energy pulls back to filtered pads and sub-bass drums. Whisper reload complete phase in and out. Minimal clicks, percussion accents fill the space. Bass hits harder with complex rhythms and distortion. Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares push momentum. Moving bleeds bend and light dynamically. Effects built to a climactic peak. Beat and bass fade with atmospheric reverb and glitch effects. Final vocal bends with growing suburbs and glitch effects. Vocal fading to silence. Bassline thick and swishing and growls. Vocal chop rich building rhythm. That's a bass drop of heavy wall and punchy kicks. Crisp snares and sharp synth snares drive the groove. Rapid hi-hat rolls and glitch effects energize the track. Layer bases at intensity. Energy pulls back to filter pads and sub-bass drums. Whisper vocage, least fades in and out. Minimal glitch percussion accents fill the space. Bass hits harder with complex rhythms and distortion. Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares push momentum. Simply expand and modulate dynamically. Beat and bass fade with atmospheric reverse. Rampage ends, echo softly. Track closes on a deep bass hum fading into silence. Deep rumble and bass with distant cloud cheers. Rising sensors create anticipation. Shuffle the passive clicks begin to set rhythm.
Get ready for madness.
With echo effects.
Get ready for madness with echo effects.
Accelerated snare rolls and laid hi-hats. Intense infills climb rapidly. Bassline distorts and thickens. Vocal chop, power drop. Drop, power drop. Massive bass drop with heavy wobble and growling bass. Punchy kicks and crisp snares lock the groove. Sharps and stabs and glitch effects heighten energy. Later power effects ripple through the mix. Energy reduces with filtered pads and soft bass drones. Whisper vocal niche fades in and out. Small cut percussion accents fill the space. Drive the momentum, synth bends and takes deep into sense. Concrete bend to a climactic peak. A effects built to a climactic break effects. Final pulse of order beat plays on fading into silence.
Burn out, rising high, hope, strong with day one bass and touch kicks, crisp snares and sharp synths that drive the groove. Hi-hat rolls, energy and pace. From the rappers pulls back to filter packs and low bass drums. Whispered feel the voltage fades in and out. Minimal glitch percussion adds texture. Bass hits hard with complex rhythmic layers and distortion. Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares push momentum. Increase beats, build tension. Beat and bass beat is buzzing atmosphere of effects. Voltage burnout, echoes softly. Track closes on a buzzing symphony, fading into silence.
Beat, bass, beat with buzzing.
Burn out.
Structure to rising filter sweeps. Subtle percussion and hi-hats at the rhythm.
Overdrive engaged, echoes with delay.
Rapid snare rolls and syncope build tension. Bassline thickens with distortion and growls. Vocal top rave, increasing hype. Massive bass drop with wobble and punchy kicks. Crisp snares and sharp synth scabs energize the groove. Fast hi-hat rolls and glitch effects elevate the energy. Layered bases add intensity.
Energy goes back to filtered pads and sub-bass drums.
Whisper drive the rave fades in and out.
Minimal glitch percussion accents the space.
Bass hits harder with complex rhythms and distortion. Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares push momentums. Leads bend and swirl with pitch modulation. Effects built to a climactic peak. Beat and bass fade with atmospheric reverse.
Overdrive complete.
Echoable foot trash and at the beats. Echoes ocean gates. Bassline thickens with the tension and growls. Vocal top rave, increasing hype. Massive bass drop with wobble and punchy kicks. Crisp snares and sharp synth scabs energize the groove. Fast hi-hat rolls and glitch effects elevate the energy. Layered bass and add intensity.
Energy goes back to floating pads and sub-bass drums.
Whisper drive the rave fades in and out.
Minimal glitch percussion accents the space.
Harder with complex rhythms and distortion. Faster hi-hat rave fades in and out. Minimal glitch percussion accents the space. Bass hits harder with complex rhythms and distortion. Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares push momentum. Synth beats bend and swirl with pitch modulation. Effects built to a climactic peak. Beat and bass fade with atmospheric reverbs. Overdrive complete. Echoes softly. Bass harder fade into silence. Flag closes on a deep bass hum, fading into silence. Elements of distant gesture on the noises. Soft glitch effects and reverse vocal steady tension. Harsh percussion taps set minimal rhythm. Mayhem begins. Rippling notes and rising synth. Bassline grows distorted and aggressive. Vocal tops and bones there with thunder drops. It was the spell section. kicks and snappy snares lock the groove. Layered sub-bass hits shake the speakers. Energy pulls back to filtered pads and sub-drones. Whispered vocal control the chaos fades in and out. Minimal glitch percussion fills the space. Bass hits harder with more complex rhythmic patterns. As the hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares drive momentum. Synth leads bend with distortion and pitch effects. And subsonic effects add depth and power. Beat and bass fade out, atmospheric drones. Mayhem subsides, echo softly. Track ends on a deep bass hum, fading into silence. Massive bass drop of deep wobbling growls. Crunchy kicks and snappy snares lock the groove. Layered sub-bass hits shake the speakers. Layered sub-bass hits shake the speakers. Layered sub-bass hits shake the speakers. Energy pulls back to filtered pads and sub-drums. Whispered vocal control the chaos fades in and out. Minimal glitch percussion fills the space. Bass hits harder with more complex rhythmic patterns. Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares drive momentum. Synth leads bend with distortion and pitch effects. Intense subsonic effects add depth and power. Beat and bass fade out with atmospheric drones. Mayhem subsides, echo softly. Track ends on a deep bass hum, fading into silence. bass, rising symptoms and tension. Bassline thickens with distortion and growls. Bubble, rumble, echoes with reverb. Let percussion sets the pace. Build-up sets the bass. Build-up walls exonerate reverb. Rising synth for pitch effects. Average up the wall and grow layers. Rising synth thus attention. Bass of rhythm, sharps and stabs and pitch effects that energy bursts. Layered bass, it's amplify the impact. Energy goes time to filter pads. It's a bass drum, so it's time for bass in and out. And on the glitch, percussion accents fill the space. Bass hits hard, with wax rhythmic layers. That's a hi-hat, rolls and syncopated snares. Simply bend and flip dynamically. Glitch hits builds to a chromatic peak. In bass they out with atmospheric reverbs. Energy pulls back to filter pads and sub-bass drones. Whisper, feel, burn away, fade in and out. Minimal clicks, percussion access the space. Beat returns with more complex percussion layers. Bassline deepens with extortion and murder. And rave funk with tour pitch modulation. Quake effects rise to a climactic peak. Beat and bass fade into rumbling atmospheric pads. Final vocal rave quick complete. Echo softly track and solo bass hum fading to silence. Soft synth pads build atmosphere like percussion and hi-hats. Start the rhythm like to layer on. Echo through the reverb. Accelerated snare rolls and rising synth. Bassline thickens and gains distortion. Forward chop, drop, zone. Build your powerful bass sharp with heavy wobble bass and punchy kicks. Crisp as a glitch, synergize the mix. Sharps and stabs, accentuate the rhythm. Layered explosion, effects add intensity. Energy pulls back to filter pads and some bass drones. Whisper zone, clear fades in and out. Minimal crisp percussion, accent space. Hits harder with complex rhythms and ground distortion. Faster hi-hat rolls, syncopated snares increase momentum. Simply flip and modulate dynamically. Explosion effects rise to a chromatic peak. Beat and fade with atmospheric reverbs and distant explosions. Echo softly, track close on a deep bass level, fading into silence. Accelerating snare rolls and rising synth. Bassline thickens and gains distortion. Full drop, drop, zone. Build up, builds a bridge. Powerful bass drop with heavy wobble bass and punchy kicks. Crisp as a glitch, energize the mix. Sharps and stabs, accentuate the rhythm. Layered explosion, effects add intensity. Energy pulls back to filter pads and some bass drones. Whisper zone, clear fades in and out. Minimal crisp percussion, acids filter pads and some bass drones. Whisper zone, clear fades in and out. Minimal crisp percussion, accents filter with complex rhythms and ground distortion. Faster hi-hat rolls as syncopated snares increase momentum. Simply bend and modulate dynamically. Explosion effects rise to a climactic peak. Beat and bass fade with atmospheric reverbs and distant explosions. Solos. The bass hits hard with complex rhythms and ground bass drones, whisper vocal pulse on detonated fades in and out. Already? Already? Bass hits harder with complex rhythms and distortion. Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares push momentum. Synth leads bend and modulate dynamically. Effects build to a climactic peak. Beat and bass fade with atmospheric reverse. Final vocal pulse bomb fading into silence. Already? Already?
Deep sub-bass and filtered synth pads build atmosphere. Light percussion, rhythmic hi-hat starts the groove. Smash the floor, echoes with delay. Rising synthesizers create anticipation. Snare rolls accelerate, layering with glitch effects. Bassline thickens with distortion, sidechain pumping. Smash, smash, so sharply. Massive bass drop with growling wild bass. Punchy kicks and crisp snares drive the rhythm. Sharps and stabs and glitch effects add energy bursts. Layered bass hits enhance the impact. Energy pulls back to filter pads and sub-bass drones. Whispered floor shatter fades in and out. Minimal glitch percussion accents fill the space. Bass hits harder with more complex rhythmic layers. Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares push momentum. Synth leads bend and distort dynamically. Glitch effects build to a climactic peak. Beat and bass fade with atmospheric reverbs. Final vocal echoes softly. Track ends on a deep bass hum fading into silence. Smash the floor. Beat and bass fade with atmospheric reverbs. Floor cleared, echoes softly. Track ends on a deep bass hum fading into silence. Track structure. Light percussion clicks at the pace. Ambient crowd noise adds excitement. Accelerated snare rolls and rising synth. Bassline thickens and gains distortion. Massive bass drop with growling wobble bass. Punchy kicks and crisp snares drive the groove. Sharp synth stabs and glitch effects add energy. Layered bass hits shake the speakers. Energy pulls back to filter pads and some bass drones. Whispered vocal beach and fades in and out. Minimal glitch percussion accents fill the space. Flex with the layers. Complex rhythmic layers.
Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopate snares drive momentum. Simultaneously, glitch kicks build to a climactic peak. With atmospheric effects. Baseline thickens and gains distortion. Build your massive bass drop with growling wobble bass. She kicks and crisp snares drive the groove. Sharp synth stabs and glitch effects add energy. Layer bass hits shake the speakers. Energy pulls back to filter pads and sub-bass drones. Whisper vocal, the Egyptian fades in and out. Minimal glitch, percussion, accents fill the space. Bass hits harder with complex rhythmic layers. Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares drive momentum. Feet bend, distort dynamically. Glitch effects build to a climactic peak. Bass build to a climactic peak. Final focus on a low bass rumble fading into silence. Crackling fire and ambient heat effects set a blazing atmosphere. Warm bass drones slowly fade in. Like percussion and hi-hats establish rhythm. Feel the reverb, echoes with reverb. Rapid snare rolls and rising synth increase intensity. Bassline thickens with distortion and growls. Phono, inferno, building height. Massive bass drop with fiery wobble bass and growls. Punchy kicks and crisp snares drive the groove. Sharp synth stabs and glitch effects ignite the energy. Layered bass hits add heat and power. Energy pulls back to filter pads and sub-bass drones. Whisper burn it down, fades in and out. Minimal glitch percussion accents fill the space. Bass hits harder with more complex rhythmic patterns and distortion. Faster hi-hat rolls and syncopated snares drive momentum. Simply bend and swirl with pitch modulation and fire effects. Glitch effects build to a fiery climax. Asian bass fade with crackling fire effects and atmospheric pads. Inferno, fade. Track ends on a low rumble fading into silence. The mix. Synth leads mimic engine revs with pitch bends.